Hi everyone, I want you to meet someone today. His name is Joe. Joe and his business strictly adhere to the waterfall methodology in their software development. But up to this point, they've been able to meet the deadlines, and it looks like they're going to have happy customers. That is until the customer calls and requests a change. You see, Joe has to say no. The reason Joe has to say no is because of the waterfall methodology. Because with the waterfall methodology, you are pretty much stapled to the initial requirements and initial deadlines you set. So when the customer request changes, it makes it very difficult to basically get any of those changes into the requirements. As everything you've planned, those requirements don't exist. So waterfall methodology makes it very difficult to adapt to business changes. That's what I want to discuss with you today, is agile development. And using agile development to replace the waterfall methodology. My name is Brad Root, and I'm currently a software developer with Quest Software. And I have also served as a software developer with IBM. I have seen projects fail because of the waterfall methodology, because essentially it doesn't leave any wiggle room for business needs that do change. Because we certainly do know that in this day and age, businesses are constantly evolving, and our software development needs to adhere to that, and it needs to be able to evolve as well. The waterfall method leads to a lack of adaptation, which has the potential to lead to unhappy customers. We need a way to adapt. Agile development leads to more manageable tasks, as you can split these tasks into smaller sections that can be completed over a shorter amount of time, and basically allow for other tasks to be added on when changes do need to happen. And there certainly are changes that do need to happen for businesses that are just unexpected. That's part of business in this day and age. And as stated earlier, that needs to be something that we can also adhere to in our software development. So today what I want to encourage is you to utilize agile development and help your business become more adaptive to business needs as they change, because they will change. The problem with the waterfall methodology is that it does not adapt to evolving business needs, and it can and will lead to failed projects if needs are constantly changing. Adaptation is critical to the current day business environment. The waterfall method focuses on the here and now, essentially, and it doesn't look forward, and this can lead to failed projects. So the waterfall methodology, it's sequential. So what this means is a business analyst needs to complete his job completely before it's handed to the next team. The development team needs to complete their job completely before it's handed to the testing team. That is part of the issue, is that if any one of these stages gets held up, it creates a bottleneck, which in turn affects the other teams, which in turn can affect the overall quality of the product. Studies have shown that in over 80% of the investigated and failed software projects, the usage of the waterfall methodology was one of the key factors of failures. Another problem with the waterfall methodology is that it has the potential to lead to poor software quality. As we discussed, the waterfall methodology is sequential. basically meaning the business analyst, as we discussed, needs to complete his job before the developer gets the job. And then he needs to complete his job before the tester can complete his. What this means is there's a potential for the last process of the cycle to get less time. This just so happens to typically be the testing phase, which means that testing can be one of the first chopping blocks. And that is one of the downfalls of the waterfall methodology, is that these bottlenecks in the process, for whatever reason, if it gets held up, which it can, and it does, it's going to affect the other teams. In turn, it will affect software quality. The waterfall methodology does have its place. For smaller projects, it's good for smaller projects. But for larger, complex projects, an agile approach is much more productive. By utilizing the agile development, we can help our business become more adaptive, and it can basically help businesses with their evolving nature, because that's how it works in this day and age. It's important to understand the differences between the agile and the waterfall methodologies. So, as we discussed, the waterfall methodology essentially is sequential. So, business analyst completes their job, hand it off to the developers, they complete their job. Developer hands it to the testers, and they hand it to the release team. So it's sequential, and everyone prior to their stage needs to complete their job. As we discussed, this creates bottlenecks. But with Agile, it's not like that. Basically, you have smaller, more manageable tasks. You can have, instead of Joe working on an entire web service, you can say, Joe, we need you to complete a portion of the web service. So maybe one call of the web service. We need you to complete this by next week, and then we're going to move on to the next task. What this does, it creates an environment where business needs can change, and also the stakeholders will see the product sooner. And essentially, if they see the product sooner, they can say, hey, we don't like this. This is not how we want this. And instead of at the last second with the waterfall methodology, where they would just say, we don't like this, and you would have it'd be okay. You don't like it, but at this point, we can't do anything about that. But with the Agile approach, we can. We can say, okay, you don't like that, the next iteration, we're going to change this. So in conclusion, what we really want you to do today is to move forward with Agile. It's a smarter, it's a faster approach, and it's adaptive. It can help your business thrive in an environment where businesses are constantly evolving. And that is one of the true benefits of it. So by doing this, by implementing Agile, you will work smarter, faster, and you'll be more adaptive. If you don't do this, you're definitely going to find that if you're doing the waterfall methodology and a business does request a change last second, most likely you're not going to be able to satisfy that change, which essentially could cost you their business. So the action you should take today is to learn more about Agile, is to help your development team learn more about Agile. And they have Scrum meetings. It's basically more about communication, which that's better for everyone in the long run. So I want to take you back to Joe now. So if Joe would have had the Agile approach, they probably would have found this issue sooner, because they would have shown the stakeholders the product sooner, and they probably would have noticed the issue sooner. Say, hey, we don't want this. And then they would have said, fine, we're going to change it next iteration. So, in conclusion, that's really what we want to get over to, is that Agile is smarter and faster. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.